Then, good night. Good night for me. I think that's not night in Pakistan. And first, I would like to thank you for participate from this event and give the give me the opportunity to share some content. And I will start doing a little introduction about me. I am from Brazil. I live in Florianopolis. It's on an island in the south of the country. I am Microsoft MVP in developer technologies with over, I think a little, a bit more, but I don't, I don't update my profile. Over 15 years of experience in software development, architecture, team leadership, and always working with microservices, Microsoft technologies. Currently, I am software architect at Ambev Tech, a sell for technology in Ambev company. And as you said, I working mainly with .NET, Azure, microservices, and event-driven architecture, trying always deliver scalable, reliable, and impact software solution. I also have independent consulting, and in this consulting, I working mainly with event storming technique and to to put domain-driven design in a modern ways. And I also doing software architecture project, and I I anticipate my apologies about my English that not perfect because it's English. I think that in Pakistan, English is the second language, but in Brazil, it's not so common. Person speak in English, then you don't training a lot. I starting think talking more when I enter about a year ago in Ambev Tech because we have a lot of global projects, and currently I am developer a project that involves United States and Africa. That's it. Let's go ahead, and I will start giving the bring the content for it. Then the idea here is talk about how easy create an event-driven architecture to integrate system using Azure Stream Analytics as a tool for filter, transform, and redirect events from the automation data stream sources. And first, I think that is important. um Bring a little introduction. What exactly is event driving architecture? Because I think that sometimes any any several persons thinking that doing just to using queues or just to use topics we are doing event driving architectures. It's not right, and then I think that's important. Uh, Bring a little definition. And what is? It's a design paradigm in software with the main idea is reactive to events. Uh, the importance, it's a very responsible, scalable, and really, I think that's the most interesting part. Is not just reactive and how the things work together, but how things work together in a the coping manner. Uh, the mainly components of this type of the architecture is event producers, event consumer, event processors. Um, Application examples, real-time analytics, applying to state chains, IoT, and system communications. Um, then, uh, we are talking about the components of this type of the architecture, and we need to understand it's very important. Mark this that producer are decoupled from consumers. A producer doesn't know which consumer are listening. It's a very important because if you have idea about the consumer, you are have doing a coupling. You have probably a flow more synchronous than asynchronous, and event driving it's asynchronous. Not all things that are asynchronous are event driving, but event driving are asynchronous. And the consumer are decoupled for each other, and consumers see all of the events. Interesting thing because this concept differs a bit from competitive consumers pattern, then where the consumers, all consumers pull the message and they are the same bucket of messages, and they are competition for the processing. Então, the message is processed just one time, assuming no errors. It's different from event driving that each consumer can get the event. And one thing that I can bring is the difference between event and message, because I think that these cause a lot of confusion again. Uh, an event is a fact. It's a thing that happened, something that happened in the past. A message generally is a request to be executed by another service. For example, could be a command to perform some action in a target services, uh, can be a query to get some data from a target services. I am talking this concept and you probably are thinking about security, yes, but not just the case. And when you are talking about event driving architectures, you have two options of models, and you are use these two models in your architecture today. And the first model is pub/sub, and in this model, the message infrastructure keeps the track of the subscription. I have subscription that need to be uh, get a copy of the events. When an event is published, it sends the events for each of one subscription. If the events received, it can be replayed, and new subscriptions don't see the event that was happened before they enter. It's pub sub model. We have to the event stream model, event streaming. And what's the difference? The difference here is that events are writing to a lock. Events are strictly ordered with a partition and are generally, it's right, durable. It's like you can think about event. Clients don't subscribe to stream. Instead, a client can read from any part of the stream. Uh, the client is responsible for advanced its position in the stream. And that means that a client can join anytime and can replay the events. And we are thinking about models, and in event driving architecture, we have different types of consumers. And this is important because I think that when we will design architecture, I am very I love to project architectures, and I think that sometimes several persons lack of interesting requirements, and just create a proposition from with an architect that they just like or is your preference, and don't think about what is necessary to be doing. And then let's understand type of consumers in event driving architecture. First, we have a simple event process. Then, why is what is this type of consumer? This type of consumer receives the event and immediately triggers an action. For example, a notification. You you have you have a device, and your device has have an event that anything was happened, and you receive a push notification. For example, this can be a simple event process. You have basic events correlation, and here a consumer needs to process a small number of discrete business events, generally use correlated by some identifier. Then you will remember about correlation ID, and for example, you have some events about an order that was created, was updated, and was closed, was deleted, and this is correlated. This is basic information. And you have event stream process. Uh, Here, a consumer process a continuous string of the events. Then you can thinking about Azure, IoT Hub, Kafka, and they are act like a pipeline to ingest the events and the feed to stream. Generally, this string have process that will transform and make a lot of things, and then you can thinking in telemetry the data, for example, stock updates. And you have now complex event process. And what is this type of consumer? Here, a consumer process a series of events looking for patterns in event data. And here we start talking about what I am bring here for us, that is Azure Stream Analytics. And here we can use a technology like Azure Stream Analytics, for example, and for what? For filter, combine, and aggregate, and redirect continuous or of a time window you can establish for several outputs. And here I am bringing an scenario where you have a brewery beer, and you have several machines send information that will happen in the automation in a bucket. Then you have a different type of things happen in a fabrica, and different type of devices that are that have different properties, different informations. This is our hypothetical scenario. And for this, let me we thinking about it that we yet have a solution that receive the events from these machines. We are done. We have these events in automation systems. Then the industrial machines produce events that put in this automation, in this bucket of events. And now I have a challenge to develop three systems. This systems, each one will have interest in different type of events from this automation source. And this automation source, like I was said, have different type of machines and type of the events. But here, my company use event hubs. Event hubs don't have building capabilities to filter, to redirect. It's just a bucket of the events. Do not mean, do not worry about who is consumed, uh, who is the destination, because they don't want to responsible for this part, and it's not the use of the tool. Here we can see that if you use you design a solution like this, you need to have three consumers, three complex consumers that will need filter the events for each one of our system. Then you need to have filters to process, to understand, because we need to search in all events what the events are interesting for me. Then we can implement these like a code, a consumer, and it's one option. But for each system that it enter in the plant, or each new event that arrive, new type of events that arrive in automation, we need to do a new consumer and implement a new filter for the system. And sometimes it's a high cost because you need to develop these consumers. Sometimes this consumer will be a job, um, a system, microservices. Then you need to code, to monitor, to have a team to develop, to test a lot of things. Then the cost will increase. How complex will build. And here is if you implement this way, this is the architectural diagram to represent what we need to do. We have automation data. We have input event hub that acts as a bucket of the events, and each services need filter and translator the message for each one another system. Here I am use service bus to have scalable capabilities to track these events, because we can receive a spike of the events, and if you just create this event in memory, it's not can be not a good approach. I am using message. This is a notation from the book Enterprise in Message Patterns, a very good book that I recommend for anyone that have interest in event and messaging, uh, are very good. Then this is an option that we have, but we have a second solution, and in this second solution, we have the same flow. An industrial machine produces events in automation, buckets, dummy, a stubby bucket that don't have capabilities to filter, to redirect, just bucket of the events. And in this solution, we have one complex consumer that will analyze, filter, and redirect to three basic event consumer for each system. Then we will choose to implement this solution, this approach, and have more than one reason, because uh, the first time, I think that when you use a tool like Event Stream, it's more uh, easy to understand the events, understand the flow, to test, to monitor. Then can be a initial solution until you really resolve, implement a system just for do this complex consumer. And then here you can see that you have one item filter and redirect. This is will be represent from Azure Stream Analytics, and in each of one system will have a basic event consumer, because each of the system will receive just the events that are necessary for it. Azure Stream Analytics will redirect appropriate events for each system, and each system will consume just your events, and do not need to worry about filter about process before the information that are needed. And here is the architecture that I am proposed. And the input event hubs are the same. And here we have three capabilities to implement. It's router, translator, and filter, and put in three different sources. And here it's the final solution where I will see how it works in the practice. I will do that in the Azure portal. It's possible to use Visual Studio Code, but we will use the portal because I think that's more intuitive and more easy, just mainly for presentations. Then here we have the input event hub that I was side the bucket of the automation data. We have the stream analytics job and three outputs that will serve from the different services that we need to build. And in the real example, it's more clear. It will be more clear. And let's talk a little bit about Azure Stream Analytics. What is this tool? And Azure Stream Analytics is a real-time analytics and complex event processing engine in the cloud. Then what I told before the type of the consumers, and for the case we are use complex event process, and it's a Microsoft recommendation that when you need to consume complex events or do process with this type, Azure Stream Analytics can be useful, because I think that it's not so common use Azure Stream Analytics to thinking about event driving. It's more a tool that are related to data process and data analytics, because I think that they it have analytics in the name. But if you thinking about data and stream analysis, they really do a little analysis in the data from redirect. Then I think that's the case, but I understand why it's not so common for this type of architectures. And what's your key features? They have a high throughput. They have an integrated query language. We use SQL query language to get information from the events. Then I think that the most of persons knows about SQL language. It's more common in the past because we don't have a lot of object relation ORMs, but in the past we use SQL a lot, and have a very easy integration with Azure services. And what's the capabilities? Uh, Real-time analytics, as I said, filter routing data process, and the insights from data too. It's possible here. And it's the last. I will show this in the my last slide. Let me change here and go ahead for the solution. Then I talked that we have event hubs that receive the data from automation, and here they are. I had provisionate the research because the research have spend a few time to provide it, and then I don't have lose time during the presentation. Then we have the Event Hub namespace and automate data primate solution here, and it's amazing that we can generate data here and put our contact, create custom payload, and send events. I think that here I put the an example, and here we need to first to analyze a bit the data, and we have three type of devices. For example, we have fermentation tank, and we have a quality control sensor, and we have another type here in my sample. It's a bottling machine type of the event. Then we are need to redirect the in event hubs. We have all events, no filter, no redirect. Then they receive the data, and I will have three systems. One system to treat fermentation information, one system that will be responsible for quality control, and one system that is responsible to do the bottom in the items. Then we have three type of events and three systems. Here is the option to send the events. We'll send the events more late. Here, I I want create from zero the our solution, but I if if we have troubles, we can use this, but I have create from scratch. Let's go from here, and here I yet provisioned this Stream Analytics job. When you are choosing Stream Analytics job, we need to choose some configurations. And here, um, the first that I will talk about is the option job, because it sounds a little bit confused because never listed job, and when you go to the portal is job, and you what's the right for me. And you have two options, analytics stream job, or to have cluster of jobs. And I think that it's at this case we will use a simple job. A cluster sounds it's a expensive solution. I think that is more feasible to process a lot of data and pipelines of data, and have a very power computational power. And here for us, just a simple Stream Analytics job works. And one thing that you need to choose when we are creating your resource is the pricing plan. And now we are using V2 because V1 will be deprecated. And what more about the Stream Analytics that will be important? Sure, the location that you are, and I let here we can configure store account that's necessary for it. Um, you can choose here the competition level. It's important because can control some behaviors of the stream analytics. And if you don't use the right, for example, you can have a very strange values conversion from Event Hub to Stream Analytics and the message destination. Then it's important check what's necessary. In this case, we will use 1.2 that is the best fit for event hubs, and we have the option to use schema registry. It's not the case for us. What more? Like I was said, it's possible to do these things that I will show in some minutes using Visual Studio Code, using another tools, but we'll use the portal. Um, let's go more. Oh, here. What are the important? I can try to remember what are the all right the job unit that I need to use. Let me see here. Oh, I will search after. But here, what are important things in Azure Stream Analytics job, and what are the bases and what you need to configure? You need configure input that are the source of the information. You need to configure the query. SQL query that you use to search what event is interesting for you. You can group, you have a lot of other options of functions of aggregation, union. You can play a lot of things, but it will be very simple in this event just to show our case. And you need the outputs where I will put the events. And why no code option don't it's the option that we can use here. It's very easy. It's a very low code, very it's very easy to create. um, I think that's how I provide in the edge. They have some troubles, but let's see why. I will show here why these don't can be useful in our case. Here we have inputs, and you can put event hubs. You just link what your event hub is. That's work fine, very beautiful. But about the outputs, uh, we planning use Azure Service Bus, like I was showed for you in the diagram, and here in the outputs using no code editor, we don't have this option. Then we will configure each one of these things manually. Um, Go ahead. Here we have inputs that automate automation data are yet configured, but let's configure it in another. And here are the input. And what do you need to do? It's at the input. The input is the source of the data, and we know that our source of the data will be event hubs. Then we can choose here an event hub, and they will show. We can provide manually using any event hub. It's important thinking about network issues, and if they are public or private and private endpoints and VNets. But here I will use the same resource group and that's open just for be more easy. And you are use automation data that it's the namespace that we said before, and you use existent event hub name and consumer group. You can use the same consumer group that was created and save. We are adding our input data, and your input data was done. And now we have here an interesting thing that is you can use several inputs because you can consume several source of data. Then, for example, if you have another event hub or another here, you can use to Edge hub, IoT hub. We can get data from several sources and aggregate the data and filter using a unique solution. Then it's a very interesting thinking in Stream Analytics. And here we need to configure the outputs. Okay, and don't have no change. And the output is the destination because um, we are we are filter get the events that make sense for it at once is or awful or the system that will need to do that is filter one responsible for filter one fermentation, one responsible for bottle, one responsible for quality control. Then here we will have three outputs. Um, Here it's a problem. I use I use Edge, but let's go get here. We have a primate. Then now I yet provide here, but we can see the details that about at the output, we can see here that we have a lot of options. Then it's very, very interesting because we use service bus topic because we are talking about event driving architecture, and here you will use a pub sub model, but we can use the destination that you want until Kafka in preview mode. Então, then SQL database, Cosmos DB, blob storage, Synapse Analytics, Azure functions directly, data lake, Power BI, Postgres, and you can play with a lot of solutions. But we we have yet provide the destinations. And what are the destinations? Let me show here our service bus destination. And here we have Azure Service Bus that will be used for the system that we need to be created. This too can be different Service Bus namespace. I just create in the same for easy to see. And now we have three topics, one topic for botting, one topic for fermentation, one topic for quality control. Then what will be the flow? As event hubs receive the events from automation, Stream Analytics will get these events, get events for bottling and put in bottling topic, get events from fermentation and put in fermentation, get events for quality control and put in quality control topic. And go move on down. You can see the topics, but come back to Stream Analytics drop. Then Okay, we have inputs. We know that input are event hubs. We have the outputs, and we have no the thing that's more important in Stream Analytics. That is the query. Here I yet start writing one query, and um it's a very very good and very common in the old SQL language. Like you create any query that you need, select, here I am, select all things, into is the output. Then we configure 3 outputs, and these output are marked because I yet use it here. And we have another outputs, one for each of the system that we will have, and we have the uh, input, the data, that is the data that we are received from the automation. And what the interesting thinking is that you can have a lot of queries here and use a lot of outputs, all things in the same job. Obviously, this is will compete about the resources, and the Stream Analytics job have your configure based on uh, string units, and each string units it can process until 700 megabytes per second, and the data, and these what have influence in the percentual of memory and process that our job will have. It's how parallel query are running, how many functions you are using in your query, how complex your query. When the Stream Analytics get the data from event hubs, they put out things in your memory. Then you can, if you put a lot of process in your query, you can be aware that will consume a lot of memory. It's an important thing to know. Then go move on. uh, we have select to put from the same inputs from automation data, we have to put in the fermentation output topic. Then we have this, and we'll have another. Oh, first I will send a event, because here another uh, another thing that's very interesting in Azure Stream Analytics, that you can preview the input data, then you can understand a bit more the structure of data that you are receiving. Then let's send some data from
Just,
us.
just sorry to interrupt, Tanya. I think we have 7 minutes left on this.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, yeah, I think we can wrap this up. Yeah.
Yes. Then here I receive, I send the data. Let's go if that's okay. Try. Let's try again. Refresh results. Let's cancel and try to input less data. And the events. Okay, send the events. Now are the events that are sent from here. And now we can try refresh. And here we'll see that are fetching the events from automation. And now you will, oh, we will have
Okay.
the events, and they will have now I can show that we can here put different type of outputs. Then you have button machine. We can filter by uh bot bottling machine, and you can filter for quality control sensor. I will just for simplify, we'll just use to system to destination. And here we can change the destination. Uh, mm, right, bottling outputs. Okay, the right. You can test the query. Okay, test the query. The query okay. Then the job is ready to start. It's a bug from the portal. Now save the query, and you can go to overview, and now you can stop the job, and you can stop now the job. And here we have our in your fermentation, and here we have a subscription, and we have a subscription, and now you can generate data and send events, and let's see if it work. And so I always have some troubles, but I'll try send again. Let me see if the job was started. Oh, they are by the running now. No, we're running. Fresh. Oh, the message arrive. Fine, works. Then here we will receive just the events from bottom server, and I can see here the events here, just the events about botting machine. Then it's the idea using Stream Analytics have a very easy solution to do this type of the integration when because event hubs don't have built-in capabilities, and you can use these intermediary to your another system, and you need to don't code a lot of consumers and filter to redirect for your queries or your talks. And I think that are in the time, and that in the final works, but is the idea here. And I will
Eh,
give my contact, and I
Thanks.
I
Thanks
think
for
that's
this.
no time
I have
for
a
question.
question. I wanted to have a, it's a very interesting use case.
Mm.
Um, and actually wanted to ask. So basically, um, so it says, okay, so Azure streaming analytics is obviously it's very crucial for, sort of real-time analytics, and it's obviously it's very critical, right? So is it also possible to integrate with Azure machine learning, for advanced analytics? Are there any scenarios for that?
Yes, yes, you can. We don't use in my currently company, not a lot
Mm-hmm.
of, but it's possible. I think that one advantage of Azure Stream Analytics is integration with a lot of tool, and you when you have functions, we can hear. I will stop the job to see this functionality. Here I don't show that we can talking a lot of these too because we have incredible options. But here we can create a function that have machine learning to uh, the, the job oh, are stopping spend
Okay.
a bit
I
time
think
to stop
it's fine.
here.
It's taking a while, I think. So
Yes. Then
yeah.
I think that are a lot of possibilities, and it's a very easy
Hmm.
tool. Here in this screen, you can add the function that can use machine learn. That can be your case. I don't know if you are the destination or are the input that you are using machine learn, but I think that about the outputs. Oh yeah. I don't really stop at my job. I
It's
stop in here
it's
and I can see the
yeah,
options.
it's
But
taking a
you
while.
can
It's
we
okay.
can
Yeah.
explore, or if another time you can show any questions for me in LinkedIn using my profile.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Oh, I am very grateful for participate from this event from the organization, and I think that I desire a very good. I wish a very good event for us. And again, my apologies about my English. I don't have
It's okay.
a very large vocabulary because
It's all
here
right.
English is not a common language.
It's all right. All
That's
right. Thank
it.
you so much. It was a great session.
Thank you.
Yeah, great having you. Thank you.
Bye bye.